back at the Injekt podcast, and today we have one of a close cousin of mine that I'm working with. His name is Alan. What's up, Alan?
What's going on, guys?
Tell them a little bit about yourself. What's your side hustle?
Okay, so there's a wide range of things that I do or can do. My biggest thing is probably videography. That's the main thing I like to focus on. But I think I'm pretty good at photography and graphic designing and things of that nature. I go to school at Cal State San Bernardino. My major is communications and media studies. So it's kind of like a broad range of everything that I just said, whether it ranges from graphic designing, uh, film, photography, cinematography, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's kind of what I do.
Oh, that's dope. That's pretty interesting. Who got you into that?
I think a lot of people have influenced me in my life for sure. From the day I was born until now, there's so many things that I picked up from all kinds of people. One of the people, let's say for photography, one of them being probably my cousin. His name is Marlon. Shout out Marlon, the dirt bag.
Shout out to the dirtbag.
Yeah, he got me into photography for sure. Not photography specific, but specifically film photography. He got me into that a lot more. I like it a lot more than digital photography, but I still do that as a side. I take like grad pics of people and things like that. As far as graphic designing, I've always been into art stuff, like in general, but I think my brother Angel got me into graphic designing. Just seeing him do it, seeing like people post flyers, and then I just got into it, and he helped me like learn all the basics by myself. And I didn't really go to school for that, but I learned a lot of that by myself. And the videography, I shout out to my high school teacher, Ms. Bone, IB film club or film class. We all we did in that class was watch movies, and before that class, all I thought of movies was like just entertainment, you know. And then after I took the class, I figured that it was more than that. It's an art, and everything that goes into a film is on purpose, and there's so much into it, and it got me really interested in it. So I kind of just that's what made me go into my major. So shout out to my teacher in high school, Ms. Bone. She got me really into it more than anybody else for sure.
For sure. For those who don't know, he's the one that does all my the graphic designing with the when it comes to the flyers for the bar. A lot of my videos that I post stuff from the quinceañera, big parties like that. That's all him. So I mean, this guy is very talented. And is it difficult to like keep your focus on one thing because you have hands in so many things? Like, is it difficult?
I wouldn't say it's difficult to juggle all of it. I like everything that I do. I guess I do like the cinematography and the videography more than anything else. But I like doing all of it because the more you know, the better. The more tools you have, the more you could show people, then the better. So I like to spread my wings in everything. I like to improve in the graphic designing because that's probably like my weakest point because I haven't been taught that, and that's the thing that I've been doing the least. But slowly but surely, especially like helping you do all your flyers, has definitely gave me the experience to get better at that. And just I mean, photography too. I've self-taught for sure, but I think I'm pretty good at that. Just experience is mainly the biggest thing that, but I don't think it's hard to juggle all of it. I like doing all of it because a lot of people don't know how to do all these things. Some people only know how to do photography. Some people only know how to do videography. Some people only know how to do graphic designing. And I like to do all of it because it just shows the kind of person I am.
Yeah, yeah. Did you get any difficulties like any road bumps when you first started? Like, damn, like a writer's block type.
There was a really long time. I think this past year, maybe a little before this past year. I think before I started helping you, I think you helped me out a lot and put my feet into the water because before that, I was just kind of sitting there and being like, "Oh, I know how to do all this stuff," but I'm not doing it. Like I'm just sitting there and like doing it on the side, but not necessarily in any like sort of way or professional manner. Now that since I started helping you, you kind of put my feet into the water, and now I'm able to do like or I do all the flyers because you need them and things like that. Before I didn't have any reason to do it besides like my own ambition or personal like motivation. I didn't have motivation before. I did all of that. I was kind of just like sitting at home and thinking, oh yeah, I know how to do all this stuff. So when the time comes, I'll be good. But I kind of regret that because I had a lot of time that I just wasted what I could have used to like build my business or build my identity and stuff like that. But
I mean, you're still young though. Yeah, I mean, you could get it cracking. Like, within
Yeah,
this year. You know, even at the end of this year, you could still get it cracking.
yeah, that's what I like to think of too. But at the same time, I'm really, really critical of myself. So I think that all that time was wasted. But at the end of the day, I do understand that I'm only 22 years old right now. And I know I have a lot of time to figure all this out. And one thing I like to think about too is I know a lot of people on my age didn't know how to do a lot of these things. And they probably started a lot later. So I'm
Exactly.
really happy about that for sure. But I still, because I'm critical of myself, I really wish I would have done it before because that's just the kind of person I am. I know what I was supposed to do and I just wasn't doing it. But now, especially you helping me out, it's really helped me out for sure.
Yeah. With all the stuff that you're into, do you prefer doing it for fun for you, or do you prefer getting paid for it? Because I know a lot of people, once you start making it a job, they lose interest and they just, you know what, I don't want to do it anymore.
For me, I'm pretty weird. It's really hard for me to sit down and do things by myself, like for my own use. But when someone tells me to do something, I think I'm a pretty reliable person to where like if someone tells me to do something, then I feel obligated that I need to do it because I don't want to let someone else down. I don't want to bring down my reputation. You know, like oh that guy won't do it. He's not reliable. Things like that. I prefer I don't know what I prefer. I like my own style of doing things. I don't mind working for someone else and getting paid. But like you said, it does become pretty tedious when someone else tells you what to do and like you shy away from your creative side and your style and everything. But I try to implement my style in everything that I do. For the most part, people can usually tell when like I'm the one that makes something, or whether it be a video or takes pictures or something like that.
Mm.
People can usually. I think my style is kind of distinctful for the most part. But yeah.
Nah, that's now you have so like your hands are in so many things like that. I know you're gonna have to spend some money in actually getting equipment. Is all that expensive? Like, how much have you spent?
For the most part, I haven't spent too much, I'd like to say, but specifically, I spent a lot of money on my digital camera. That ran me about like 4,000. I was on like a payment plan for that. I bought that when I was like 20 years old. What's everything? Let's see. I spent a lot of money on film for sure. A lot of the roles that I come to develop, that shit for sure adds up like a
What
lot.
what makes you keep spending money on film when you already have a $4,000 camera?
uh, I don't know, man. It's there's something about film that makes it so much better. Like the whole process of it, like the way it looks, is so beautiful to me. Like you can never recreate film in like digital as much as you try. It's impossible. You can definitely tell when it's a digital picture and when it's film. But I just enjoy the whole process of it. I like waiting for my pictures to get developed. I like that like anticipation of it. I like thinking like, oh man, I don't know if this shot was good, but hopefully it was, and we'll have to see later. You know, rather than like on digital, you can just see clearly. Oh, okay, that one's cool, and then you can go back and edit them. And with my film photography, I don't edit anything. As like the way I shoot it, the way it comes out, that's the way I keep it. I don't edit any of that stuff. But I just love film. Everything about it. I like film and movies. I like older ones. You can definitely tell when they're like shot in film rather than digital. I really wish people would still go back to shooting everything in film, but it's a lot. It's very expensive, especially nowadays because it's not as many people do it, so it's not as accessible as it was before. But I for sure love shooting film.
What's your angle in this? What do you see yourself doing in 5 years from now with this? Do you feel like you can make it a professional career, open up your own business, have your own photographers, and tell them what to do? Or
I think from now, I'm not sure exactly, but my idea is I want to build my profile. I want to build like my Instagram and all that stuff, not based on one thing, but I want to be known as the guy that does all the things because I follow certain people. They don't just post like their photography stuff. They don't have a page just for like their wedding photography. They have a page where they have everything. They have their wedding stuff. They have their graphic designing. They have their personal things. I want to just be myself, and I want people to want me because of me. Like I don't want to have this facade of like, oh, just my wedding pictures, oh, just my graduation pictures. I want it all to be based on just me. Like Alan can do that. He can take your wedding pictures. He can record your videos. He could make a flyer for you. He could do everything for you. And I just want it all to be about me, not specifically, or I don't want to separate myself into categories or anything like that. I just want to be myself.
have you ran into any hurdles in the business side of things, as in like charging people, finding out what to charge people? Even with the photos, I know you did some grad photos, right? And did you charge them? Were you like weird about that?
For me, I'd like to. Well, so I'm a very humble person, but I like to think I do a pretty good job of what I do. But since I just started, I don't like to charge people a lot because I know I just started. But at the same time, I need to because I spent so much money on my camera that it's like it makes no sense for me to charge a little bit when I spent so much money on the camera itself. But usually I'll charge a little cheaper now. Since I've gone taking a lot of grad pictures, I boosted it up a bit because I have a little bit more of a portfolio now, and I didn't have anything to show for it before besides the fact that people just knew that I could do it. But now that I have a portfolio, I'm thinking of raising my prices and everything, and I know people will be okay with it because they've seen what I've done before, and they'll totally be fine with it. But it is difficult because a lot of people don't understand like the art side of things. They think, oh, you're just pushing a button. Like I'm not gonna pay you
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
much, and that's really annoying to hear. But then again, like I try to explain the best I can that I'm like, okay, listen, I spent so and so much money on my camera, and I need to make that money back. You know, I need to make it worth having this camera. Otherwise, like I could just have a regular camera and still and charge you that much, and it would make
Or even
sense.
on the iPhone, man.
Yeah,
Just
I could
here we
take
go. Yeah.
pictures on your iPhone, you know, and I would charge you that little. But no, since I have that nice camera, you want that quality, then I need to charge you a little bit more for that. You know, you
Yeah.
get what you pay for, and if you want to pay me a little bit, then I'm gonna be pretty non-caring about it, and you're gonna get what you get. But for the most part, everybody likes what I do for them for sure.
Yeah. You dabble a lot in music too, or no?
When I was younger, I tried making music. Music is like the most important thing in my life. It's more important than videography. It's more important than anything in my entire life. Literally, all I do is listen to music. But as far as diving into it, I tried making music when I was younger. When I was like in high school, I tried making like electronic music and stuff, and it was pretty hard. I didn't understand like the basics of it, but I was pretty able to figure it out by myself. A lot of it, literally everything that I know how to do for the most part, I've learned by myself. I literally when I was a kid, all I did was sit in front of my computer, my desktop computer, 2008 Windows Vista, and I would just search the web, just like learn as much as I could, and that's all I really did. I had like a really fat library full of music. I organized it really nicely and everything like that. But music is like the most important thing to me in the entire world. Like that's what I spend my money on. I go to concerts, I go to festivals. Like it's literally my whole life. And I guess as of recently too, before I bought a controller, a DJ controller. I tried DJing. I was okay at it, but I think I just kind of lost passion for it, so I ended up selling it and stuff. But I'm trying to get back into it now. Now that I understand how like music works now how to count beats, things like that. I understand it a lot more, so it's very helpful, and I'm really trying to get into it for sure because the DJ scene is kind of blowing up right now for sure.
Yeah. You're gonna actually drop a set in one of your Halloween parties, and just in a few days, and you're excited. I'm sure you are, because you came over here and practiced your ass off. So I mean, you should do pretty well, man.
Yeah, we have a Halloween party for my fraternity, 31st. It's gonna be wild, but hope no one really knows about it. But I'm trying to drop a surprise set. Hopefully, I get the crowd going. I'm pretty sure I will. Everybody's gonna love it. I know what my friends like. I know what all those people like. So it should be really. I'm really excited for it. Nervous, but I'm really excited. It should be fun.
Speak about the fraternity life. How is that? Me personally, I've never experienced it. I don't know anybody really in my family that has, besides you and your brother. What is that all about? Is it as crazy as you see it on TV and the movies, or?
That's one of the biggest things that I like tell people that it's really not, but it could be. I think it's just a matter of like where you go, what school you go to. I go to Cal State San Bernardino, and obviously it's not the biggest school ever. I'm totally proud of going there for sure, and I love my fraternity. But as far as like what you see in movies, that does happen, but just mainly more at like other places, bigger schools where they can spend more money, where it's not as strict. My school, the school is literally after like the Greek life. They want to shut us down. They don't think like what we're doing is cool, or they don't think what we're doing is safe and healthy and all that stuff. So they want to shut us down. But it's really fun for sure. I was pretty much a square before I joined the fraternity. I didn't do anything. I mean, I'm not ashamed of it at all. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I didn't do anything. I didn't party. That wasn't just for me. Not that it's for me now, but once I got into it, once I was more exposed to it, definitely enjoy it. I love going to parties. I love the whole fraternity thing. It's definitely like it's not just the social aspect, but there's a whole business aspect to it as well. Getting a lot of connections from it. I'm getting a lot of experience from it as well. I take care of taking the pictures and videos for my fraternity as well, since I've been in. And it's not even like my job to do it, but I still do it because I know that since I'm good at it, I just feel like it's a responsibility for me. But it's really cool. I definitely recommend it to a lot of people, especially if you're trying to get out there more, because going to that school is not a lot going on. I mean, the school tries to hold things, but it's just not interesting to like the people my age and stuff. They think it's cool, but it's not. So definitely joining fraternity is really cool. It's a lot of perks of being in one for sure. But it can be expensive, but it's totally worth it for sure.
The perks. Do you see any perks in what you're doing now? As in, well, you said you do work with them and all their content that they do, but outside of that, do you see an opportunity with a company, somebody that's been in a fraternity before and has a company for just photography or?
Well, I've gotten a lot of like connections from it. A lot of people that graduated from my fraternity have hit me up about taking pictures for like their parents' weddings or things like that. But I haven't necessarily been. I think I'm kind of in my fraternity at least. I'm pretty rare in like what I do. Not a lot of people like come in with that fraternity doing that. A lot of people in my fraternity are like business majors, so they'll get like connections with that. But as far as everything else, I mean I get hooked up with people, wedding stuff like that, or just casual parties. I have one coming up on the 16th on a Saturday. I'm just gonna take pictures of like a family's like party, and they're gonna pay me really good for it. Um, but yeah,
Nah, yeah, that's dope. How do you actually find out what to charge them? Like, do you search the market? Because I know that we're probably gonna have some listeners that want to do it. They've never done it, but they want to start it. And I know you just started maybe a few years ago, and you just started really charging and doing all that. How did you start charging? How do
well,
you
I
know the
think
market?
I honestly don't know the market at all. What I did was basically, I mean, I guess I did a little bit of research, but I kind of saw what other people, like my competition, quote unquote, what they were charging, and I'm just gonna charge a little less, and I know my picture is gonna be a lot better. So I just charged a little, like $20 less than anybody else would, or like $30 less, and give them more than what they need, because other people like ask or charge a certain amount of money, and they'll give you a certain amount of pictures. With me, the way I believe is like if it's a good picture, I'm gonna send it to you because I don't want to be the one that decides what's a good picture for you and what isn't. I feel like the more I give you, the more you have to decide for yourself what's a good picture because I could think you could look good in one and then you probably think that you're really ugly in that one. But
Yeah,
that's happened a lot of times where I think like my favorite picture, I'm like they're gonna post this one for sure, and they don't end up posting it because they don't like the way they look in it and they like the way they look in other ones or etc.
what makes a good picture to you?
I mean, I guess it depends, but like for you gotta get specifically like what.
Like, what do you look for in a picture? I'm sure when you have the camera and you snap it, you kind of already feel like, damn, that's gonna be a good picture, you know?
I don't know. I'm really weird. I don't know the technicalities of things. I don't. I mean, I've taken a classes recently, so I've learned a little bit more about the technicalities. But like I said, I'm just a kid that picked up a camera and learned it by himself. I don't know if I'm doing this the right way, but to me, honestly, I just look into the viewfinder and whatever looks pretty, I just take the picture. Literally, that's all it is. If it looks nice to me, if like I follow the rules and everything, and it looks nice, that's literally all it is. It just I try to like with me, I'm more of a like nature person. I'm more of outside. I like greenery. I like trees and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I like to look for more than anything else. But I'm trying to develop my style more, just to be more distinct than I already am. But just so people already know, like from the bat, like oh, Alan took those pictures. Like that has to be him. That's his style. He did it this way, so on and so forth. But yeah.
Do you have any advice for anybody that's picking this up? Whether it comes to making flyers, whether it comes to the photography or videography. Like, what do you have advice for somebody that's barely coming out of the high school, or even just in high school and just trying to pick it up as just for fun? Any advice?
The best advice is to just do it. Don't wait around for anybody else. Don't wait for anything. Literally, just do it. The moment that you decide that I want to do this, just go for it. Pick up your camera. Go take pictures of the dumbest things you could ever imagine. Go take a picture of your dog outside. With graphic designing, look up some videos. Just dive into it as best as you can because honestly, in this day and age, the more you know, the better. We're getting in that age of like social media and the internet and everything like that. So if the more you know, the better. Don't just stick to one thing. Obviously, try to be better, like be like really, really good at one thing, so it stands out. But try to be really good at everything else as well, because it's only gonna help you out in the end. and maybe you don't get that job. Maybe you apply for something and for a photography job or something, and they don't like the way you take pictures, but they really love the way you do the graphic designing or flyers like that. So it only helps you out in the future. But definitely just learn as much as you can, ask as many questions as you can. Don't be afraid. Don't be like, oh, I sound like a poser or anything like that. Like, who cares, dude? Because at the end of the day, you're gonna learn what you need to learn. You're gonna become who you want to become, and that's all that's gonna matter. Who cares about what people tell you? Don't listen to anybody else. Do what you feel is good, because there's always going to be someone telling you that it's not cool. And as long as you think it's cool, that's all that's going to matter. And you keep pushing it, then it's going to work out for sure.
For those who want to get a hold of you, where can they find you at?
Yeah, so the main way you can find me is on my Instagram. It's at Alancito, Alancitoo. That's 4 O's. And you can also follow me on Twitter. It's Alancito with 8 O's.
For sure, man. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate you. I appreciate you doing this with me. I know you got a gang of stuff to do, school, with the everything, and I appreciate your time. Once again, that was the Injekt podcast, and that was it. We'll see you next time. Late.